Assassin's Creed Shadows caused a lot of controversy when it was first revealed, because it had a black guy in the game. Now, I can't exactly remember his name, however, it is kind of historically accurate. I looked into it and I was like, at first I was like, oh wait, are you sure this is historically accurate? Sure enough, it is. Now, obviously, it caused a lot of controversy. People like, he's not a samurai, he's a retainer, I think people were saying. No, I'm not too sure with sort of samurai stuff and stuff back in that period. Some people said he was a slave and stuff like that. I don't really know, but it caused a lot of controversy on Twitter. A lot of people were just not happy with it at all. And it kept going on for quite some days. Now, the gameplay, the very few gameplay we have got, looks pretty cool. Now, again, a lot of people called out Ubisoft, saying the only reason they're doing this is because it's 2024 and they're trying to fit in some sort of stereotype or something like that. I don't know what they would be trying to step in. However, it looks like a lot of Japanese people aren't too pleased as well. Now, the Japanese people, some have been very vocal on Twitter anyway, in saying that, well, they kind of like this game. They don't have anything sort of hatred towards it. They said it's pretty cool. This is part of their history and stuff like that. And then there's some, obviously, Japanese people out there who aren't very happy about this either. You're going to get a divide with a lot of this stuff. Now, I can kind of understand from both aspects. I mean, this is a game that is sort of celebrating the culture of Japan, but I can kind of understand from both points. I'm sure if it was the other way around, and that would cause a lot of controversy too. Either way, I do think that this thing has been blown up. Of course, I mean, not just because Ubisoft. Well, I mean, Ubisoft doesn't exactly have a great name to themselves, do they? They are a company that, doesn't exactly have the best reputation. Their reputation seems to drop dramatically every time they release a new game, and I'm sure it'll be the same for Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm not too sure. Apparently, it's more like Ghost of Tsushima, which is pretty cool if that's true. I don't want it to copy it heavily, but anyway, back to the topic at hand. So, this is from... let me try and pull this up. This is from Insider Gaming. I'll show you, I'll talk about the... So, in Japan, a change.org position has surfaced to ban Assassin's Creed Shadows. It now has a fair few weeks since Ubisoft lifted the lid on this year's Assassin's Creed title, announcing dual protagonist adventure set in feudal Japan. It's setting that fans have been desperate to experience for many years. Yes, a lot of people have wanted a Japanese sort of Assassin's Creed. I mean, we've had Assassin's Creed in quite a lot of places. I can't remember what Assassin's Creed, like, was it France or something? I can't remember. I think Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I did like that. Assassin's Creed was about greatness and fun. I remember didn't they have an online mode years ago as well, where you could actually just, I can't remember, I think it was that Assassin's Creed 3 or something, I can't remember which. I did play quite a fair bit of that with some friends. But Assassin's Creed has kind of lost a lot of its identity now, especially in the past few Assassin's Creeds. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, from what I played of it just doesn't feel like Assassin's Creed. It doesn't feel like that assassin. It just feels like a massive, just sort of Viking type of thing, which I guess, I mean, they're just slapping Assassin's Creed on anything. It's like, I don't understand that type of thing. That's maybe why people are angry as well. That's maybe why people want to ban it. However, Japanese fans of the franchise were quick to voice their disappointment and concern about the game, with the most extreme suggesting that Ubisoft is floating racism and severe historical accuracy in Shadows, which is set to be released in November. Now, from what Google says about this, it looks like Google's lying about a lot of the historical accuracies as well. Now, I don't know much about this sort of guy. I mean, he was apparently cherished by a lot of black people, and loved by a lot of black people back then, from what I heard anyway. So, I don't know. Judging from this petition, if this is true, and this is just solely Japanese, a lot of Japanese people, sort of donating, sort of signing this petition, then I guess that tells them that maybe they're wrong in this. Now, obviously, a lot of Japan loves their culture, and I don't really blame them. They don't like their culture sort of being fucked around with, and stuff like that. Again, that's not a bad thing, In some cases, I think some games can actually portray cultures and countries in a bad light. And that's not really what you want these days. You want to kind of make a game that's good, not a game that just flames a country type of thing. Now, I do think what this whole thing is, it's kind of blown out of proportion. I guess we'll see really what it's like when they release it. Some people are putting out hits and saying that it's all these inclusive people that are working at Ubisoft. I think someone pointed out someone was trans and stuff like that. And they're the type of developers that are ruining this type of gaming by adding inclusivity towards. Now, I do think forced inclusivity into things isn't a great thing, because you're not actually wanting that person to be in there. You're just forcing them in there for the sake of respect and stuff like that. And I don't really respect forced inclusivity. Like, add someone to a story based on colour, that's brilliant. However, don't add them just because you're adding them for the sake of adding them. Actually add them, so it makes the story better. They're badass, I personally, I don't look at skin colour to begin with, but in a game, I'm not like, oh, that guy's black, oh, that guy's white, oh, that guy's this, type of thing. I don't do that. I just enjoy the game. And I do, again, I can slightly agree with, or maybe not agree, but maybe understand where some of the Japanese people are coming from. However, take down Shadows. In Assassin's Creed Shadows, users can assume control of Neode, a shinobi, or Yukase, a samurai, and the series' first protagonist to be based on a real historical figure. Yeah, they never shut the fuck up about that. I kind of thought that was very funny. No one ever shut up about it. Like, oh my god, this is a first historical figure. Did it say it in gaming? The series. Yeah, a lot of people never shut up about it. They said, oh my god, it's the gaming's first ever real protagonist, or real historic. Now, can't do a check. I don't really know if that's 100% true. But we get it, brother. We get it. It's a real historical person. That is actually pretty cool. I think a lot of companies, even, some of the developers were just trying to rub it in people's face who were against this and who were sort of outspeaking about it. That's what I think anyway. They were just trying to rub it in the faces of these people, like saying, we don't give a shit, we're not going to change anything for you, type of thing. It's been portrayed as a full-brown, respected samurai warrior in Assassin's Creed Shadows, and that is where the historical inaccuracies reportedly begin. The recent Change.org that has surfaced in Japan has gathered almost 30,000 signatures. That is true. Just looking at it now, the goal is, it started the 19th of June, although two of the top supporters' voices, they are both white people, so I can't really confirm how many of these people are actually just Japanese people or not, I have no idea. Although, yeah, it's kind of a bit awkward that. But here are some of the comments people have made. Putting the ass in Assassins. Okay, this game promotes Asian hate and deliberately disrespecting. I don't know why I struggled with that. Japanese culture and blackwashing. Delete this game from history. Okay, people definitely aren't happy if they're putting this. I may not speak or understand Japanese, but I fully support this decision to stop Ubisoft. This game is a disaster. We need to get the American companies to be respectful of other cultures. You know what? I do think people need to be respectful of other cultures. I know if you go to Japan, they are very sort of respectful in the sense of they want people to respect their culture and not act like an idiot like they do in many other countries. If you go to a country and start screaming and doing stupid things, like you may do in America, in Japan, people are just not going to accept you and they're going to think you're just an alien type thing, which I don't really blame them, to be honest. This is ridiculous. I stand with Japan on this. Okay, this guy's Mitchell really let his heart out with this one. Up until this joke, the games made sense with setting and characters. Yes, there were once a black servant to a samurai. No, he was not a samurai. This is well documented. They could have easily made him a primary quest giver and kept him relevant, but they decided to go full woke. Yeah, a lot of people are not very happy in this whole thing, but this is what the petition says in the description. Recently, the lack of historical accuracy and cultural respect has been a serious issue regarding the game Assassin's Creed Shadows by a game developer, Ubisoft. The game is based on Japanese samurai and ignores the fact that the samurai were a higher class of warrior and should have been Gokin, is that it? Or servants of nobles. In fact, the first European to receive the title of samurai, William Adams, served 200 koku in this history. Ubisoft continues to misunderstand the nature and role of samurai. This is a serious insult to Japanese culture and history, and may also be linked to Asian racism. We call on Ubisoft to immediately cancel the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows and show sincere research and respect for Japanese history and culture. We need your signature. Sign this petition to let Ubisoft know the importance of culture and respect and historical accuracy. So that's what they put out, talking about this whole thing. Now, fair enough. I mean, if that's what they stand for and they are not very happy with how this is, I hope it's a lot of people who are Japanese. Just reading through some of the thing, a lot of these people aren't really Japanese, so I can't really tell. It's just people saying, "Oh, we support you, Japan," and stuff like that. And two of the top voters aren't exactly Japanese; they're white. So, I'd love a bit more confirmation whether they're actually, and that's not me being racist towards anyone. I mean, you are allowed to speak out about things these days. If you think they sort of offend you, or you think they're, hurting you or hurting a culture that you represent or a culture that you're part of, you should be able to speak out and speak out about that. Of course you should. Of course, I don't disagree with anyone who speaks out about cultures and speaks out about this and speaks out about racism. Asian racism is kind of on the rise. And I'm not saying a lot of people are racist towards Asians. It is on the rise, unfortunately. But the best thing is just to try and stop that. And I'm assuring these guys who are doing this probably don't mean very much in racism. Now, obviously, there were racism spread about this. There were a few people who threw the M-word around on Twitter due to this whole thing. I think someone made a George Floyd, yes, you heard that correctly, a George Floyd edit on the Assassin's Creed Shadow trailer. Yeah, people went that extreme on this whole thing. It's crazy how much this pissed off a lot of people. It was trending for a good week, maybe. People just were not happy with this, Ubisoft. I mean, they weren't happy anyway because they were charging dirty prices for, Assassin's Creed Shadow, but they weren't happy to begin with. This is more from Insider Gaming. The Assassin's Creed trailer, especially the one aired in Japan, picked up a pretty awful likes to dislike ratio. Players in other regions had some issues with the game's flow and overall appearance, with many running the fact that it's moving back to the massive open-world RPG model that was first introduced in 2017. I think that was Odyssey, wasn't it? A lot of people didn't mind Odyssey as much, I think, but wow, I didn't really like Odyssey. It kind of felt like they took but Black Flag shouldn't have really been an Assassin's Creed game. I don't know what I don't know what I'm guessing they're just trying to leech off as much of the Assassin's Creed name. I mean, Assassin's Creed had probably one of the most respected runs. I haven't played Assassin's Creed Mirage. I have heard that it's apparently okay. It's not too bad, but it isn't great. I was going to pre-order it, then I thought, you know what? I'm probably not. I'm going to stay away from it. I'm just going to go and play my old classic Assassins. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, stuff like that. Games that actually I thought killed it. Although they did try to replicate Assassin's Creed Black Flag with Skull and Bones, which they did a decent job at in some areas. But yes, I think they're just trying to sort of hang on to the Assassin's Creed name. I understand people complaining about the gameplay type. It's probably not going to be incredible, to say the least. It's fucking Ubisoft we're talking about here, so I don't really suspect an incredible amount of anything. But who really knows? With many players, that's so yeah. I don't know. A lot of people just aren't happy about this. I don't know if the guy who actually started this petition is Japanese. I think he is. I mean, the whole thing is in Japanese Japanese language. So I'm presuming it is. About this. So yeah, a lot of people aren't happy about this. Media inquiries. That's just. Yeah, there's a lot of people who aren't very happy about this. As a U.S. Marine who has stood sanction in Okinawa, and as a customer of Ubisoft who has purchased every Assassin's Creed so far, I am deeply offended by this proposed game. I will not be purchasing it, and I call on Ubisoft to respect the history and traditions of Japan, as well as the gaming community predestined set by the set of games in the series. Okay, these are still some people very pissed off. Wow. Okay, these, how can they call DIE a black person to replace a Asian male protagonist is beyond woke. Oh god, people are throwing the word woke around as well. Yeah, that's really all I've got on this situation. It's pretty crazy, to say the least. I can kind of understand why they're complaining about it, of course. A lot of people like their culture and don't want their culture sort to be affected or anything like this, but hey, I'm not the person to really get involved and say anything on that. This is blown out of proportion in many ways. But yeah, that's all I've got on this one. It's quite clear people aren't happy. And this, bearing in mind I think it was in the past, what was it? Let's have a look at in the past day, 12,651 people have signed this petition, which is, wow, a lot of people, to say the least. So, who knows? if Ubisoft are actually going to listen, if this gets to, I think it has to get to 35,000 signs before, or signatures before this, I guess, goes to Ubisoft, right? I'm not entirely sure where it actually goes. I'm guessing Ubisoft. But yeah, a lot of people aren't happy with it. I'm presuming some people are Japanese as well. Yeah, that's really all I have to say on this.